This channel is powered by patreon.com/swiftlessons. Enjoy a library of specialized resources to help fast-track your guitar journey. Hey everybody, welcome back to Swift Guitar Lessons. Today, let's jump back into the blues genre and learn how to solo over some common chord changes. All in all, I'm going to break down 3 sophisticated licks that demonstrate very well how to play through the changes of a given chord progression. So let's get started with a quick demonstration of our 3 examples, then I'll break them down for you note for note. Okay, a close look at the fretboard of this beautiful 1965 Gretsch Country Gentleman, my dream guitar. Just curious, what's your dream guitar? Let me know down in the comments below. Okay, so getting started, we want to make sure that we have a couple of scales down. The first is the minor blues scale, key of C. And prerequisite number 2 would be the C Mixolydian scale, and the trick for getting that really cool kind of professional major blues sound is mixing the 2 scales together. So C Mixolydian looks and sounds like this. Okay, now let's jump into lick number 1. It's gonna look and sound like this real slow. A 1, 2, 3. Alright, ending on a C7 chord. Okay, breaking that down, I'm getting started picturing a C dominant 7 chord shape. And from that chord, I'm going to be borrowing the major third and adding that into my blues scale. I'm playing this very cool kind of jump blues, early rock and roll way of jumping into a lick. A 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so very simple. That's the minor third, G string, 8th fret, hammering up to the major third. Then the B string, 8 up to 10. You put that together and we have. Make sure you can count in a 1 and 2 and a 3. Okay, now on the next measure, we're gonna play. Alright, so we started off, double stop slide, the B string and the high E string, sliding into the 8th fret. Alright, next, I'm playing over the C chord, so I'm going to picture C minor blues scale. So that was 8 on the high A, 11 on the B, down to 8, and then back up to 11. So far you have. Alright, now, I need to anticipate the 4 chord F major or F7 coming in. So I'm going to picture the F chord and play. Alright, and then work my way back to the C chord. Alright, so I played the 10th fret of the B string sliding in from the 9th, then 8 on the high E, back to 10, and then, really cool here, I'm going to slide 9 down to 8. Before going to the 10th fret of the G string, and then hammering on once again, 8 to 9 on the G, and then resolving to the 10th fret of the D string, alright, as the C chord comes back in. Alright, you put that second measure together and we have. Alright, and measures 1 and 2. Alright, now finishing up the lick, we just need to transition to the 5 chord G dominant 7. We're gonna play. Alright, so that was 10 down to 8. And then the 9th fret of the A string, walking up to a G7 chord shape. That's the 10th fret of the A string, 9th fret of the D, and the 10th fret of the G string. You can hit the bass first, then the D string and the G string together. All right, you put that all together and we have a 1, 2, 3. All right, from there you can transition back to C dominant 7, which I like to play with my thumb. 8th fret of the low E string, and then I have 8th fret of the D string, 9th fret G, and 8th fret of the B string. Making sure that the A string is muted. That's every single dominant 7 chord in the book. Okay, now moving on to lick number 2. This one follows a 1, dominant 3, 6 progression, or C major, E dominant 7, A minor. And for that reason, I'm going to picture those chords in positions that overlap with my solo end positions and scales. C major played as a bar, E major played as an A rooted bar chord shape, and I also have right here the A minor chord played as a D minor shape, 9th fret of the G string, 10th fret B, and 8th fret of the high E string. Okay, once again, the lick looks and sounds like this. A 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, breaking that down, we definitely have some Jimi Hendrix vibes here, but it's a little bit more R&B than that. We are barring the 8th fret of the B string and the high E string, and we're gonna hammer up on the B string to the 10th fret. Then go back to 8 and 8. All right, next, G string, we're gonna slide 8 down to 7. All right, so far you have. All right, next, 10th fret of the D string, down to 7, and then back up to 10. All right, that lick right there is gold. All right, next, picturing the C major chord. I need the transition, a transition lick from the C chord to the E7 or the E chord. I'm gonna play. All right, I like to slide into this first note. Okay, so I slid in the 10th fret of the A string, 7 on the D, up to 10. Next, this is where the E chord is coming in, so I'm gonna picture it as a bar chord shape and then borrow these 2 notes right out of the chord. 9th fret of the G string and the B string sliding in. Okay, put that together and we have. And in context. All right, next, the last measure of this lick, the A minor chord is coming in. We're gonna play. So a little bit of a classical influence here. I'm playing 10, 9, 10, 8, 10, 8, 12, 8, 12, and then sliding up to the 17th fret of the high E string. All right, you put that last phrase together. And the whole lick, a 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, now moving on to our third and final lick. This is being played over the tail end of a 12-bar blues, where we would have the chord changes G7, a 1, 2 and 3, 4, F7, 1, 2 and 3, 4, and back to the C7 chord where the turnaround would begin. Okay, so over those changes, we're gonna play a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a... Okay, breaking that down, I'm picturing the main box of my minor blues scale, key of C, and I'm gonna kind of walk up to the upper extension of that scale. Okay, so I'm playing. With the count in, a 1, a 2, a 3, and 4, and a 1, and... Alright, so that's the 10th fret of the D string. Then on the G string, we're gonna play 8, 10, 11, and then slide from 11 up to 12 before harmonizing with the 11th fret of the B string. So, once I've gotten that far, I'm going to just keep alternating between that 12th fret G and the 11th fret of the B string. All right, now we're gonna slide back the way we came. All right, so that was 12 sliding down to 10 and then going to the 8th fret. All right, then the 10th fret of the D string. At this point in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the 4 chord is coming in. So that's an F7 chord. So I'm gonna find myself an F note right here on the G string. Hammering twice up to that note. Okay, so far you have. And it sounds really sweet right as that chord change comes in and you hit the right notes to follow the progression. One more time. All right, now we're gonna get a little fancy with it. I'm on the 4 chord and I need to make my way back to the 1 chord, C7. Now, one of the coolest tricks that I've been able to find in the world of blues soloing is this idea that I can imply diminished passing chords in between the 4 chord going back to the 1. So if I look at my fretboard here, I can picture this F7 chord or F9. Then I can picture this F sharp diminished chord, which sets up the resolve back to the 1 chord. Okay, so I'm going to imply this diminished shape with this lick here. And then resolve back home. All right, right here's my root. Okay, so this diminished lick. All right, that is the 8th fret of the A string, up to 9, D string 7, up to 10. All right, and then we're gonna play 8th fret of the G string, sliding back a half step, back to the D string 10th fret. All right, to finish that diminished phrase. All right, now the last thing you need to do is just resolve back to C. So I'm gonna take that chord's major third and the root note that we would have inside the bar, slide up into the major third, and then vibrato on the root note, making sure to use my middle finger to pluck that string so I can bring out those highs. Okay, you put that last little phrase together and we have. And the full lick, a 1, 2, 3. Alright, just like that, congrats everybody. You've learned 3 new phrases and also some very valuable concepts for building your own solos. Alright everybody, thanks so much for checking out this blues guitar tutorial. I hope these ideas are going to serve you well and that this lesson will encourage you not just to run scale, but to think about the changes as you solo. I want to thank my patrons for making all these lessons possible. I hope you're enjoying all those extra resources. And thanks to you guys, I got many more lessons coming up. So keep checking in. Please subscribe. Please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.